And I believe we're live. We've made it. Connor, it's good to hear you again. Good to be with you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We're gonna be short. We're gonna be short a man of our tremendous trio, but you've got the dynamic duo in front of you all for now. But welcome, folks. Please pardon any weirdness in the audio or weirdness right now in the overlay. I can tell it's a little bit wrong sized. We made a little bit of a production change and ended up adding a stream PC. So hopefully that'll make some of the skipping and quality of the stream a little bit better. But enough of that. Welcome, and thanks so much for tuning in. We're super excited to bring this to you. There's been some really cool developments. Connor's been working hard on just building out this mod, and we're gonna explore some of those improvements. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is Gamer Society's Minecraft programming stream. Gamer Society is a 501c3 charity. We're a nonprofit based here in Michigan, and our mission is to promote STEM, promote learning through game design and digital arts. And so we'll be having some cool news coming around the corner. We're going to be going back into the after-school space very, very soon, which I'm excited to announce. We'll be working again with our partners over at Bright Futures, and we'll be helping out here locally and bringing some games and some cool exercises and programming sessions to some kids that could really use it. So definitely keep an eye out for some developments there. So Saffron,
Those guys are real heroes, huh?
Oh
They're
yeah.
just,
Oh yeah.
They're just always there year after year, trying to make things better for kids around Southeast Michigan.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that really excites me about this stream and about what you're doing, Connor. In that, like, everything here, and for the folks at home who aren't aware, everything here that we're doing, you can literally go home, like from your house. All you need is a copy of Minecraft. And Connor, interject if there might be a little bit more to it than that. I think it's Forge is another thing that's involved. But basically, and we can help you with this. Send us a message if you have any questions. But everything you're seeing, this mod is free. You can download it, use it at home, and it's just a awesome tool to just play some Minecraft and do some modding on the fly using Python. And so you're going to see, if you've been seeing us the last couple weeks, welcome back. If you're joining us just for the first time, you'll see what we're talking about in a little bit. Connor, were you able to get into the server? I got it spun up, but I don't know if you're in here.
Yeah, I'm just far enough away that I don't hear the cats, but you'll see me if you take a look around.
Oh, okay. Doing my Aladdin thing. Oh, there you are. Okay. Monsieur Connor. Look at this aerial shot. Bam. Well, hello. And
yeah,
welcome.
Welcome to cameramanning.
Yes.
Congratulations on your promotion from showrunner to cameraman. This is not how it usually works in the industry, but such is life.
My salary was doubled. Nothing like a good old 0 times another value joke. I see you got an ender pearl in your hand. So look, what maybe we should do? You think we should do a recap? Can I talk about what we touched on last week a little bit and just connect that with what we got going on today?
If I remembered what we did last time, I'd be more inclined to say yes to that. As it is, I don't know if I can help.
No worries. It's been a little bit. So if you look at my inventory, you'll notice I have a very interesting item, and that is a Pythonic wand of cleanup snow. And so one of the features in this mod that Connor wrote is that you can take an item, and if it was created using this mod, like if the properties and everything like that were created using this mod, you can actually what's the best way? So you can imprint your code onto an item that you're holding, and you can also extract code from a Pythonic object, from an enchanted object, and put it into your sheet. And so again, if you have any questions, let us know in chat. What's going on? We had somebody who dropped in. He said hello, goodbye. Okay, well, have a great day. And we've got a couple cool. There's a couple of cool things that you can do with this, and so I'm going to switch over to the code view, and this right here is one of the documents that is inside of your Minecraft installation. And so this comes with the mod. This is generated, but it's just a document. You can open it with any text editor that you prefer. We tend to go with VS Code, but anything else should work. And whenever you make any changes to code inside of this document, and then you save it, it will automatically make those changes to the game. And there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with that. Check out any of our prior streams. We're going to be putting up some VODs pretty soon on our YouTube channel to give you more examples. But we'll probably have a few more examples coming up for you on what this looks like. But basically, you can take a item inside of Minecraft, and if it was created using this code, you can then automatically bring that code out and then inject it onto this page. It's super, super cool. You'll have to take my word for it.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of that now. So like,
okay.
I guess it's no matter what else we get into, I think it's probably always good, at least once somewhere in the stream to demonstrate like, hey, here's what one thing you can use the mod for, and here's how you do it. So let's look at, suppose we wanted to dig to the center of the earth. That's the hard part, is deciding what you want your code to do, because the possibilities are limitless. And then the easy part is, once you've decided what you want your code to do, how can you instruct the computer to do that? What are the steps that it's going to have to take? And just telling it what you want is not always super effective, because you're a human and it's a computer, and it's going to get wrong what you want. So programming is the act of teaching it step by step. Here's how to do what I want. So let's go through the process of writing dig, please and thank you, in Python, and then we'll go from there, if that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. Heading to the code sheet.
Okay. So I'm going to erase what we have here now, knowing that in any good code editor, you can always get it back later with some undo. And so here in yourcodehere.py, which is, by the way, how any file of Python code ends, and that's also how you know what it is that .py at the end there. Let's start by...
Let me give a quick shout out to Moon. Welcome, Moon. Welcome to the stream. Moon's asking, how's your day? Can't complain. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, nice to be here. Just writing dig to center of earth, the Python method. So this is how you give your code a name in Python, is you create a definition for it. You can give that definition a name, and then these empty parentheses, we'll maybe go into that later. But you can put stuff there too. So I've given it a name, which is important because someone coming along later might not know what I was trying to do here, and that's really helpful. But after defining dig to center of earth, I have to say, okay, computer, well, how do you actually do that? And so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with a cube, and I'm going to start it where the player is at. So that's going to get kind of alphabetical here, since what I have to do to instruct the computer to start it where the player is at is player.x, player.y, and player.z. Why 3 letters for one place? It's just kind of how ya boy Minecraft thinks of positions. Is like, okay, well, given that the world is made up of blocks, and every place in the world is a block, X is how many blocks east or west of the center of the world, the one block that is the middle that something should be. Y is how far up it should be from the bottom of the world, with 0 being the void. And Z is how far north or south it should be, from the center of the world. So you can actually, with 3 numbers, you can get at any place in Minecraft. So I want to have a cube. I want to have it where the player is, and I want it to be a very modest size and made of air. And let's hope I got the size and the air in the right order, the size and the block in the right order, because I never do. But one of these things is going to tell the computer, yo, I would like a cube of size 3, which is really 3 times 3 times 3, or 27 total blocks. I'd like to clear those blocks out and replace them with air. And then so that's the blocks immediately around you, or above you actually. But we promised to the center of the earth, right? So we're going to modify our code a little bit to use a for loop, and it's going to move the cube downwards. So it's going to dig and then move the cube down, and then dig some more, and then move the cube down again, and then dig some more, and then move the cube down, such that by the time it has dug all the way, we should have a hole down to the bottom of the world.
And just to illustrate it, there's some cool things, cool little keys that you can hit in Minecraft. And so if you hit, nope, that's screenshot, F3, unless you changed it, but if you hit F3, you'll see a bunch of like information. You almost feel like a cyborg. You're just looking around. You can see like the matrix, the code in the matrix, and that little box, that green line and that blue line and that red line. That's another way to think about the coordinates, the X, Y, Z. So as you turn this little like half box, this little 1/3 of a box here, kind of gives you an idea of like which direction you're facing, and then you can actually see the value of your current position represented in the X, Y, Z. So on my screen, it's about, from the left, it's like the 7th line down. It just starts with X, Y, Z, and it says 404, 664, 122, blah, 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 blah. And so wherever you're moving in this game, in this 3D space, the player.x, player.y, and player.z is constantly changing. And so by putting that here in the code, you're essentially saying, hey, I'm representing a number that is prone to change. And unless, because if you put a fixed number in there, then it would only do whatever you're coding here, whatever action in that specific place that you had hard coded it to. But by using player.x, player.y, player.z, you're making it a lot more flexible. You're making it so that way it's based on your current position as a player. And you see a lot of that things in this mod. It's pretty handy.
Yeah, good point. So like we could have written the code to just dig a hole at one location, right? But then if we moved and then pressed the button to dig the hole again, we wouldn't be as impressed that it dug a hole that already existed, right? We want it to be underneath us every time. Speaking of which, if I were you, I'd start flying just so you don't fall.
Oh, okay.
And then yeah, so you can see that in the code I've added like a for_n in range. And the range is going from player.y, which again is how high above the center of the world you are, to 0, which is the bottom of the world. And it's going to step by -1 each time. So that's what those 3 things in for_n in range are. So it's going to start where Antonio is. It's going to go to 0, and it's going to take steps of -1 every time that it goes. So it should clear out the area around you, go down a little, clear out the area around you again, go down a little, do it again. And yeah, let's try it out and see what happens. But if you're not flying, you might fall in. That's why I mention it.
Okay, well, let's give this a whirl. So to run the code, well, it's very important that you remember to save. So I'm gonna go over here, hit select retry as admin. Let's do this again. Okay, stand by. There we go. Oh, getting a little bit of an error from VS Code. Let's try this again. Let's see. Retry as admin. Take 2. See, and now we're getting into some of the fun. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I will have to do this then. I'm gonna take this code, and then I'm gonna have to change it locally, but that's okay. So let me pull this up really fast. Scripts MP, your code here.
Yeah, I can't tell what the problem is from over here. It looks the same as it always does to me.
Yeah, it's most likely because of how I'm opening the file. But I just gotta do it by hand, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go back to Minecraft. Bam, there we go. And we're gonna hit P. Oh,
Well, hang on. Before you run the code, grab a new copy, because I just now threw in the invocation of the definition. We had it, but I didn't never use.
Yeah, gonna need that. Which is a great point to cover. You know, so when Connor went ahead and defined this, you know, this magic spell here is another way to look at it. You define it, but you also have to run it. You have to say it, like speak the magic word, which is important to remember. Okay, and let's give this a whirl. Hitting P. Ooh, Python had a problem understanding you. Type error. Range, integer, end argument expected got string. Did I not copy it right? That is a very, very real possibility. Range, integer, and argument expected got string. Oh, okay. Making some quick updates. Okay. Let's try this again.
Don't 100% know what the mistake could be there, but I made the range simpler, and we'll see.
Okay. Save. All right. Heading back, and we're going P. Ooh, integer and argument expected got string. Now what could that be? For n in range, 0 player.y.
Yeah, very odd. I shouldn't have to turn player.y to an integer because it should already be one. But
Right.
Let's I don't know. Let's take this as an opportunity to show people how to turn things into integers when you need to. Okay. So that should have done it. Just putting int and then parentheses around player.y should change it from, you know, kind of whatever Python thinks it is into a whole number, like 0 or 1 or 2, but definitely not 1.5 or 2 3/4. Let's see if that makes a difference.
Okay.
Or you have to keep copying it and pasting it every time. I don't know what happened
no,
here.
that is my own. I probably could fix it by doing some finagling with like the administrator thing, but you know, in the interest of not bringing the stream to a complete grinding halt, let's give this a try. P. Oh, still getting the same thing. Type error range integer and argument expected got string. Let me look at my code real fast because I'm just copy and pasting what's there. Def, yep. Error. Maybe we could try the hab code, the instahab. Let me see if that does anything.
Yeah, I mean, since this isn't what we're really trying to get at today, we can always go back to some known working code.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that works fine. That works fine. So this is a different code. You'll notice this little box of glass just showed up. So I'm gonna run it, and then we're gonna hit P, and then bam, box just shows up all around, an InstaHab, which is pretty handy. Now let me show you the code that does this. It's actually pretty nifty and pretty simple too. Boop. That's it. That's all there is to it. InstaHab. Now one thing that you're not seeing, which might be worth taking a peek under the hood, is where is InstaHab being called? And if I remember correctly, we added that to the base spell. Is that right? I think we put that at the bottom.
You've got it. Yeah. So
yep, here it is. And so this is another way. I think this is useful to look at because we were just showing how to define a method, how to define a function, a piece of code here that you want to run. And this is something that's running in the background. And so each one of these different documents are part of the mod. This particular one gives you a bunch of really cool things that you can do if you end up downloading it and want to check it out. But we in a different episode, we created a specific spell called InstaHab. And this is where we defined it. And so right in here, these are all the arguments that it needs in order to work. And then there's a lot of other things that are happening, a lot of math that's happening in the background that helps calculate, well, about how many, first of all, which kind of bricks or which kind of blocks are we going to make. And as you see here, we're making air blocks. That's why the inside of the glass hab here is empty, because we're actually telling it to put air blocks all the way on the inside, so that way the player can stand there without getting suffocated. And then you'll look around it. There's another value, and this is actually part of the arguments. You're wondering, in case you're wondering, well, where did it get glass from? Well, good question. We actually defined that right here in the argument. And so we defined InstaHab. We invoked it, if I'm using that word correctly, right here. And these are the different reminders. These are the is it parameters? Keep me honest. Would these be considered parameters or just arguments?
Either one.
Okay.
Those are two words that mean the same thing in this case.
Oh, okay. And so all you would have to do is include, okay, well, here's the X location, Y location, Z location. And so, as I mentioned before, it's pulling these automatically based on where you, the user, are currently standing. And then at the very end, you just put in glass. And then bada bing, bada boom, we've got ourselves an InstaHab. And so this is an example of what are some of the codes, what are some of the things that are happening in the background to make this super easy to use, but then also give an idea of what defining a function looks like. And it's pretty cool. Hey, you look. Let me get you a place to. Boop. Now we're roommates. Bam. It's like a greenhouse. We can
Love
put
it.
plants in here.
Love it. Thanks. The house I always wanted. Yeah.
Just don't throw stones.
Gotta get some house plants. A cat. Go in, cat. I don't care whether you want to live here. This is your house now. That's how cats work, right? Nope, it's not how cats work, as we all knew. They decide what their homes are, and we just deal with it. Yeah. So it looks like I just made a plain old normal mistake in my digging code there, and this is in fact a problem with being not a good enough Python programmer, not a problem with the mod.
Oh. We could.
So let's.
Code again?
Yeah. Well, actually, let's just take what we've got here for InstaHab, and let's put it into your code here so that people watching from home can see them both at once, not have to wonder like, what does that actually mean there?
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, now we're defining it, and then separately we're saying like, I would please like one, and I would like it to be size 8, and I'd like it to be made of glass. So what I was hoping to get at today is that when we sort of onto an item. Many items. Many items. Here's some seeds. Don't say I never gave you anything. You should be able to hold an item and press K. You should be able to get an item that is now called a Pythonic Wand of Instant Habitation.
Ooh.
You should be able to right-click that instead of press P to get the same. Yeah, okay. Great. So there are a couple of other things you can do to make that experience a little better for yourself. You can set the name of the author, in which case your name will appear in the tooltip when someone mouses over that item in their inventory. But the you can set a cooldown, so like they're not allowed to right-click it at the moment of every day. They're only allowed to click it like once every 5 seconds. Would be 5,000, or like a full minute would be 60,000. Basically, like the cooldown is in milliseconds between when you can use the item. But the thing that I especially wanted to demonstrate today and also ask about is it has to do with crafting. So like we can I want to make sure I get this right. Yeah, here we go. Crafting ingredients is the name of this one. And then so here we can just put what do we want someone to be able to, Minecraft is this game about like finding resources and using those resources to produce more stuff for yourself, and then like using the stuff to get even more resources, and like building yourself a little life out of all that. So if we wanted someone to be able to craft this instant habitation, the Gek, as it were, if you're a Fallout player, what should they make it out of?
Ooh. Let's say glass. And,
Okay.
Glass and. Trying to think. I don't want to break like the in-game. Trying to think of something that would make sense. Glue isn't a thing inside Minecraft, is it?
No, they maybe should be, but without other mods, I don't know of any glue. Maybe
glass and we'll say like a wooden stick. Why not? Got it.
Okay. So I think because this is brand new stuff and it's not done yet. We're playing an alpha. I think I can only do items. I think I can't do blocks yet. So like glass is a block, but I can do sticks.
Okay.
So let's look at an item that might work here. Yeah, and we could try glass and see whether it works. I just don't I don't know ahead of time whether that will just function the way it should and be like, oh, glass, you mean a glass block, or whether it will mean like, glass the item, there is none, I refuse to work for the rest of the day. So yeah, sorry to ask you a question and then be like, no, that answer is good, because that answer is frankly perfectly good. But
yes.
Let's if we have to stick to items and can't do blocks, then let's do like sticks and string, maybe.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
And then we'll see how this goes. So you look at if we look at a crafting table in Minecraft, which I can do you the favor of laying one down here if I were thinking about it.
Bam.
So if we look at a crafting table in Minecraft, there are like 9 slots, and so we can require up to 9 things in our recipe. So I will make it just a string in the top left, and then a stick at the bottom right. And we'll go from there. But so the way I'm gonna write that is like not super intuitive. And this is honestly what I wanted to get at on the stream, is like, how would you expect to be able to do this? How would it be convenient to be able to do this, etc. But right now, because everything we want to have happen is like being written into these Python files, I'm gonna have to go string, okay, which I want for the first item, and then for the second one I want nothing. So I'm just gonna put a comma. And then for the third one I also want nothing. Fourth one, nothing, 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 nothing. And then for the last one, I want it to be a stick. Okay, so let's double count. So like one thing, and then they're separated commas, right? So like string is a thing, blank is also a thing. You'll have a recipe that doesn't take anything there. So string, blank, blank. Okay, there's the top row. And then blank, blank, blank. There's the middle row, and then blank, blank, stick. There's the bottom row. Okay, so I have the right number of commas, and I have the 2 ingredients that I want. So it should be like this. If this alpha is working correctly, it should be that you should be able to record this Python onto an item by pressing K, holding it and pressing K. And then once you've done that, you should be able to use the crafting table to produce a copy of that Pythonic wand. You should be able to put a string in the top left and a stick in the bottom right, and reproduce this piece of Python using the crafting table. With the one note that I see that an E has snuck in there. It's an S string now.
I copied it before that got added. So let's give this a whirl. Okay, so
insulted by my ex. I'm not just stupid, I'm stupid.
Let's see if let me put on something interesting. Let's do like a dead bush. Why not? That seems pretty cool. So I've got my code, which you can see here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and kit. Is it K? K to save?
Yes.
K to imbue. Okay. K. Oh, that's a Pythonic wand of instant habitation. So I'm gonna right click over here. Bam. Got instant. Okay. That's pretty cool. Now we're gonna do this, and we're gonna use a string, and then place a stick. So cool! And look at that. I got myself a Pythonic wand of habitation. And it's even the same item too. That's cool. Like it just saves it. It just remembers like what I put it on, so it looks the same. And now I got 2.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's got some limitations. So if we were to turn the server off, it would forget. It would be like, what's a Pythonic wand of instant habitation, please? And we would have to reteach it. But for as long as the server stays running, yeah, it will just know that, and the crafting table will just be able to make copies now.
That's cool. You know, in like if we were to do like a survival server or something like this, where folks could just join and play, it'd be kind of cool to have it. It'd be kind of cool to have it where like maybe they have to do something like this every day, like at the beginning of a day, and then when a new day starts, they have to redo it. Almost like it makes me think of like if you ever played D&D, how a wizard has to like prepare their spells for the day, and those are the spells that the wizard has access to. They can't just be like an unlimited supply of spells.
They've added like millennial wizards to D&D called sorcerers. They can just use whatever spells whenever they want.
Oh, really?
But
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but the old ways, the real ways, are you memorize them because you get you
get your wizard.
I do about. Yeah, it would be cool, and that's sort of what I want to figure out. Is like if this mod is integrated Minecraft a little more, if it's going to be like more useful in survival mode, and it's going to have like anvil recipes and craft recipes and stuff, like, yeah, should they last for a day? Should they last for all time? Should they last for until someone overwrites them? Like, yeah, I don't know any of this stuff. It's all stuff for me to figure out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
So
think it would be really cool to have like a mod up where like a modded server just up where folks could go in and play and test it out. And I imagine it'll probably be a version of that future where I mean at this point it's probably pretty easy to crash the server, right? You could probably write just some crazy code
oh yeah,
and crash the server pretty easily. So in order to have
very
it, like,
easy, and even easier to just like make a swastika in the sky that everyone sees when they join. Like ruining things is much harder than building them.
Right. Well,
or much easier,
ruining things is much easier. Yeah, much
That's
easier.
what I meant to say.
Very true. But and I think that's where we talk about this a lot. When we're kind of between streams, what would be a way to create like a shared online kind of server experience where it is a little bit more, a little bit more grounded. Where the magic itself is useful, but it's not unlimited. You still have to play the game. There's still some objectives, but we would have like different challenges. One of the coolest things that I thought this feature to be able to save and then read code is that, let's say you're just learning how to program, and you show up, you pop in. You learn how to make a basic spell, but then it has a really powerful, really cool effect. Well, now you can crack it open, so to speak, by using the mod. Look at the code that's inside and kind of start to pick apart. Oh, how does this work? Right? Like, how does this work? That's a really cool thing to figure out. Just kind of create like an adventure sort of map with a bunch of artifacts all over the place. That slowly kind of teach you how to explore, like how to learn how to program. But these features are sweet, Connor. I mean, really, really nice work. Really nice work. I love the crafting capability. So you could go in there right now and craft it as well, even though I was the one who saved it. Is that how it works?
Let's take a look. I don't get too many opportunities to play the mod with other people. So let me see. I need a string and a stick. Okay, so I've got both, and then the string goes top left, and the stick goes bottom right. Oh, yes. Okay, a Pythonic wand of instant habitation.
Coded by Glorious Leader.
By Glorious Leader. And the thing is, that has never been on my computer. It has only ever lived in the copy of your code here that is in VS Code on your computer.
That's so cool.
So yes, glorious proof that Minecraft respects me and wants me to thrive. Take the code you saved and let me craft the wand out of it.
Right.
So is that what you would have expected? I guess, like, is a question I have. Okay, so confirmed it works. I've got a glass house of emotion here. But so would you have expected me to be able to craft it, given that you were the one who saved it, or would you have expected something else?
No, I think that would have been the ideal thing, because if we're let's say there's some crazy modded boss somewhere, and maybe I want to create something, and I want you to be able to craft it from wherever you are. I think that yes, in a free play kind of like exploratory test environment like this, I think that that's exactly how it would work. But the thing that I'm wondering now is how would there be a way to balance that inside of, like, let's say like a survivor code mage kind of server, like where, like, what would be some ways, because then you could make a really powerful piece of code, right? And then attach it to an item and let somebody make it out of whatever item that you want. It could be like an incredibly small item.
Sell it for nothing. Yeah, you could be like, well,
Yeah.
this is my wand of do everything and be everything, and it costs you a spider eye. Hope you ever
Right.
killed a spider. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, it definitely requires some maturity. I don't even actually know what happens if to bring it back to a simpler case. I don't even know what happens. You and I have the same code and we just give it different recipes.
Oh.
Like who wins? Who gets to who does the server agree is correct and who does the server ignore? Usually it's more like, well, the makers of the game said what all the items are and said what all the blocks are, and so you just have to kind of live with it. And if you don't like those, you can install mods that also said what the blocks are and what the items are. But yeah, this is new stuff for Minecraft. Like never has it been like, well, the player decided what this did and what it cost. Like it's a lot of power.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right that there's not much in the game that prepares you for it.
I'm kind of just hearing you just curious what would happen if we test that out. I guess my hypothesis would be
Yeah, I would tend to list them first, let's say with a new that would accurately work, but so will the old one, because there's no code right now that says like, oh, you. You appear to have saved a recipe. Would you like to delete old ones? Nah, there's nothing like that. It's just every new recipe is, your wish is its command. So let's see, I guess. Yeah, what item can we require in addition to the string and the stick? We can also require another string or another stick, but I feel like that's boring.
String and a stick. How about a piece of stone?
That's a
Somewhere?
block.
Oh,
Sorry
right.
sorry to keep doing this to you.
Item. Oh, right. Item. Let me see. Let me pull up the
And it's hard because blocks are all also items,
right.
but items are not all also blocks.
How about um a cobweb? Would that work?
I think that's a block too.
Really?
Like a string. Yeah, a string is sort of the item equivalent of a.
So then how about let's do a fern. Is that
I'm
go
gonna
fish?
have to stop trusting you to stop picking blocks.
Oh, really? This is the block? Hold on, look at this. You're telling me this is a block right here? That's a block?
Yeah, look at it. It appears in the world. It's got it exists in 3D space. I can't shove it by touching it, right? Like it's not like this cat where it can move between positions.
I see. So it needs to be an entity, like specifically an entity?
Well, like so an item that cannot be a block is, for example, so an item that can be a block is a torch, right?
Okay.
So like you can hold a torch in your hand, you can also put a torch into the world, and then it exists in that position that way forever, right?
Okay.
An item that cannot be a block is like an egg,
An egg. Okay. Let's do an egg.
right? So like I can hold the egg, I can throw the egg, I can give the egg to you, but the moment I try to like put the egg in the world, it doesn't appear as a block. It just yeets itself and maybe becomes a chicken if I'm lucky.
Is food? Would food be a good category to
Yeah.
pick from? Okay.
Yeah, food is typically not blocks.
Okay. So let's.
Having said that, you're gonna find the exception.
Right. Yeah, I'm good at that. Like inadvertently. Okay. So I got some eggs. So then let's head over to the code.
And yeah, just throw an egg somewhere in that recipe, and we'll see what happens.
Put it right after string, just so I don't lose it, just to make it nice and uncomplicated. And I'll put instant author.
Now I didn't see that happen in the live share,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming that might have something to do with our technical difficulties today.
So I am. Oh, you know what I can do? This would probably be an easier way. Let me send you. This will take like 2 seconds. So, let me send you a different invite. To the live share, so that way you'll be able to get to it. Okay, there's the new live share, and then because I can still share my screen, it's just full screen, so it's a little weird because you can see my background, but it's whatever. It's just my desktop. Okay, so I sent you that. You should have access to that, and then I can just switch over on the stream to my view, and so you just here's just the document, the full document, and it's in all its glory. There you go. Boop. I think we can make it a little bit bigger, right? Yep, there it is. Just so that shows up on the stream nice, in a nice way. See, that's fine. That'll do. I don't know why I was making. I was definitely making a much bigger deal in my head. Cool. Can you see it?
As we always do before we try things.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Now I can close that.
Yeah. It looks like I can. Yep. Now it's authored by Colonel Sanders.
Okay. So we added an egg and a glass and a stick. String egg stick. Okay, saved it. And let's go back to Minecraft. And let's build this bad boy.
Yeah. Now, important point is you have to save it onto an item for Minecraft to notice that you've changed the recipe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's another thing that I'm kind of wondering is like, if you wanted to not do that, just save the recipe, how would you expect to? More on that later.
We're gonna put this on. Does it really matter? I guess I could put on an egg, couldn't I?
Yeah, just put it on anything, any
egg.
old item, and then don't tell me what it is, and if it comes out right in the end, you'll know, and I will not have been able to guess.
Great. Now I want to figure out. Now I want to surprise you. What's it gonna be? If anyone's in chat has any recommendations, I'm open. But I want to pick something fun. What's it gonna be? Oh, this looks kind of cool. Okay, we'll do that. All right. And I imbue thee. A Pythonic wand of exact habitation. And which I use. Works flawlessly. Alright. Now you get to build it. And now we'll do it.
Okay, gave myself a string, an egg, and a stick. So string in the top left, and then egg in the top center, and then stick in the bottom right. Ooh, okay, and it's a fire charge.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Try it. So it's got the right title. It is exact with a GGZ. It builds me into a glass house. Perfect. Okay.
Bam.
So yeah, that worked, and the new recipe took effect. So I think what we will find is that the old recipe still works though.
Okay. Let's try the old recipe. It does. It does, in fact.
Okay, so it just produces the dead bush version instead of the fire charge version, right? So like the server remembers, but the server has no preference. It's not like, oh, you've saved, I should delete your old version for you. It cares not, right? You've said this Python should have this recipe and it listens.
Right.
Now another thing that I think we could do is I think we could save another piece of Python with the same recipe, and I also know what.
Okay.
There's lots about stuff. Why this is really straight out more like what you guys think we should do, you know. A lot to think about. If we go to the coding space and let's replace the code with something else that we know works.
Oh, is the
The
cooldown, is that
oldie ice
milliseconds?
block. It is milliseconds, yeah. So
Oh,
that
okay.
is one half of 1 second that you've got there.
Gotcha. Ooh, ice block.
Okay, so yeah, we'll replace Glass House of Emotion with Ice House of much smaller emotion. And then let's try to save it with the same recipe here. So string, egg, and stick. And then we'll see which one we get.
Okay.
There, I'll rename it too, because why not?
Yeah.
Remember, you do have to throw it onto an item for us to try it.
Right. So then I think I know what I'm gonna do. So now I need to find an item to put it on. And I mean, come on. This is kind of a given. I imbue thee. Pythonic Wand of Chili Habitation. Also written by Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, forgot to change that part.
Yeah, I should have made a cold miser. So. That's okay. You know what? I'm gonna make a cold miser, and we're gonna see what happens.
Okay, I just gotta wait a second to craft it. It should be good. When?
And then we'll make. Yeah, should I add a new ingredient?
No, because okay. I don't know. Up to you. What I'm trying to see right now is if we save 2 things with the same recipe, do we get always the first one when we make the recipe, or do we get always the second one, or do we get some of each, or what?
I see.
Yeah.
Well, let me see here. So Pythonic Chili Habitat, Colonel Sanders. So can I imbue it again? I can.
Yeah.
Imbue it again, and then it remembered, so it changed the author. That's pretty cool. And now, why am I losing frames? And then now, yeah, let's go ahead and craft this bad boy, see what happens. Wait, that was unintended. Let's try this again.
So I got the most recent one. I got the snowball with author Cold Miser.
Excellent. So it's just gonna overwrite.
Yeah.
Whatever was done last.
Right. So like meaning if you write a piece of Python and I write a piece of Python and we both happen to choose the same recipe for it, right now whoever does it second wins. Like there's no there's no way to handle the fact that like, oh, yeah, well, you tried to use this recipe, but I note that some other piece of Python already has that recipe, so do you want to maybe not do that, or do you want to overwrite it or change it, or like, yeah, whatever. None of that is happening currently, and it's all just like, well, got a new wand with this recipe. Guess I'll take the old one that had this recipe and yeet.
It's kind of funny. I still yeet the snowball.
Yeah, it is in all ways still a snowball. It's just also a Pythonic wand now. So it still does whatever a snowball did. If it were a bow, you would still fire an arrow, etc. That can be changed, but so far, I reason.
Sorry, cat. This is
yeah,
so much fun.
Cats are the real owners of this world. We're just borrowing it.
Exactly.
I hope you like your house, kitty.
Yeah,
If not, I will reprogram it.
comes with you know, you're gonna save a bundle on that on your energy bills. That's for sure. If you just got a little ice, just a little wall
Straight
ice
up.
room in here. Bam.
Yeah. Ice for the summer, glass for the winter. This is Michigan paradise right here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is really cool. Really nice work. I love that. I love that. The tagging feature that you made, I think, is just super cool. The hashtags getting super cool. That's just such a clever way, like pass. It's like a dead, right? Like it's you're passing information for kind of remember and it just uses it. That's super cool.
Yeah, and it could have been like part of the Python program itself, but I thought it was important that Minecraft be able to understand what it's looking at without actually running the Python. So like without trusting, like, oh, this code by Cold Miser looks pretty good. I'll just run it on my server and like wreck the world, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, the part technically of it being in a comment there, of it being like hashtag whatever, versus actually being a statement in the Python is that you don't have to trust the Python to read the comments. You can still get the metadata without running all the user's code, which is nice because like I don't want to have to, you know, the mod doesn't make a glass house every time it sees a glass house. It just wants to think about it sometimes.
Right.
So yeah, I'm trying to make that stuff usable without making it just like too deep for anyone to deal with or care about.
Right.
So as an example of the kind of thing I'm wondering is like, does it actually make sense to provide all 9 crafting ingredients and, you know, with like commas between them? Because that's just one way to do it. As sort of a dumb example, like a worse way to do it, I think would be if we had like crafting ingredient 1 and then string, and then like we had to have crafting ingredient 2, and you know we had to specify like nothing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like it's quite obviously would not be any good if you had to be like string and then egg and nothing a bunch of times. You know, like that's a dead giveaway that your life is bad, is that you're having to tell the computer when to do nothing. And then sorry, stick is at the end here, right? No, not string stick, not strick. Stick. Here we go. That's how you English. Yeah, so like I don't know. I'm not a smart man. I'm just a programmer, but I can tell that like lines 6 through 14 are very painful compared to line 4.
Right.
But I'm also not so dumb that I think line 4 is convenient. It doesn't look that convenient to me. Like if I just got here and I don't know what's going on, like what's with all these commas? Like this is some bullshit. It looks like someone made a mistake, you know?
Yeah. No, it's a good and maybe it could be a combination, right? Maybe it could be something like if they want to do it this version they can, or maybe if they want to do it this way, where it's like, you know, string 1, egg 2, stick.
Oh, perfect. Yes. Yeah, so they can say like what number it goes in.
Yeah, yeah, something like that maybe. Where it's still
Yeah.
pretty intuitive, but it's you know you don't run into that multi-line problem.
Or like we, you know, yeah. Another thing I was imagining is doing it sort of visually the way Minecraft does it, like three rows, you know, and then still counting commas, which is lame, but you at least don't have nearly as many. right? And
Right.
so the first row is a string and an egg and nothing, and the second row is nothing, and the third row is nothing, nothing, and a stick.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
Now what you've got here would work too, where you just say like what you want and then what position you expect it in.
Because then you're only telling it what it needs to know, right? And it kind of helps you
Skip the things it doesn't. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you leave out the stuff, and so like it just assumes that okay, well, for these three things, it needs to be this at the string at the first position, an egg in the second position, and a stick in the ninth position, and everything else needs to be empty, and it can just assume that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Okay.
Now, how would you change it? Promise I'm not just sticking holes in things. This was a question I had.
Yeah.
But how would you change it if you wanted to say, well, like this takes 10 eggs.
Ooh.
Now, like
well,
and as far as I know, there are not actually crafting recipes in Minecraft that do this.
Okay.
You know, like I can't think of any off the top of my head that are like, well, you have to have 6 of something in a stack or it just won't happen. But you're allowed to require that. You're allowed to say like, well, you can make my adamantium chest plate, and all it requires is 64 diamonds in a stack. Like, yeah, I don't know. So I guess if, and it is an if, but like if we wanted to give players the ability to say, you know, my crafting recipe requires like a stack of items here, and not all items can be stacked, right? So we're giving them the opportunity to say impossible shit, like I want 10 diamond axes, like 9 diamond axes fit on the crafting table, you know, like, oh no, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
So much potential for bugs, but like if we were to let people say, well, not just 1 egg but 10 eggs, you know, like how would they do it?
So this is just on the fly, so I mean it's just probably going to be the worst implementation. But my knee-jerk reaction would be you either do something like you just put it in to the same place. So, you know, same thing here, but it knows, okay, first number is quantity, second number is position. And so if there's no or maybe it needs to be the other way around. Like you'd have to let me know what would make sense in terms of implementation. But it could be, it could be the first number is actually how many is needed, second number is position. So this one could be 4, and to stick could be, 5 and position 9. Or to make it look different, or I don't know if this would be like a little bit more of an assumption. But I suppose, and I don't even know if this is possible, right? You let me know if there's like, if this just isn't a thing. But yeah, I guess you could do something like that, where now they're actually separated. And I'm just thinking like, what would be easier to read? And maybe you could even put like an X, right? I have to put an X in front of it or something, to let you know that when you read it, you need that many, and then in that position, or so on and so forth. That would be my first. That would be my first guess. But I kind of like it. It feels a little bit more, a little bit better when you don't have the X's in there. I think the second one would be a lot. If you were to see this here, this would be a lot easier to figure out.
Easier to read and harder to write.
Yeah. Exactly, and this would be easier to write, but a little bit harder to read, because it's not exactly obvious what these first values are meant for. But yeah, I guess that would be my answer. I mean, very quickly it becomes more characters than the commas, right? So it is an interesting question.
Yeah, you're right that sooner or later it's complicated no matter what. Like the moment your requirements are complicated, so is the way to specify them. And we might need some more time to just like make adventure maps and think about this stuff as creators,
right.
Separately from sort of like programmers or wishers well of the mod. But just like, if someone were to use this to make their adventure map setup more possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just sort of trying to reason out like what would their needs be? What would they want to gate your access to a Pythonic wand on? How would vanilla Minecraft items be helpful for that, etc.
Exactly.
And yeah, I guess I realize the stream is getting a little long in the tooth, but another thing to consider, if anyone's following along and wants to track our progress, is kind of like the anvil too. So we've got this crafting table in Minecraft, which like, well, you've got some somethings and you want a greater something, and you're willing to give up your smaller somethings so you can craft them into a greater something, and you lose access to all your sticks and your eggs and whatnot, but you gain this, this new item. The anvil is traditionally more like, well, you've got something and you want a copy of it, or you've got something and it's really busted and you want it to be like new again. So writing a Minecraft mod, you also have the ability to change how the anvil behaves in addition to the crafting table. So I'm just also over here thinking like, well, how should that play in? Can you fix these things? So yeah, that's what we'll go out on, I think, if you don't mind.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Is if we add a like a hashtag uses here, and I give it like uses 2. Oh, and I guess we got to take out all these crafting ingredients things that don't actually make sense yet.
Mm-hmm.
but good suggestions. Yeah, the mod will get very confused though.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame it. So we'll put it back to just string, egg, and stick here. I'll throw that on an item myself, since I'm at this anyway. Okay. So that should have done it. So the last thing I want to show, in addition to talking about the crafting table and the anvil stuff, is like the idea of exhaustible uses, right? So like in Minecraft, when I use a tool like this axe, it starts out in my inventory flawless and beautiful and with no little health bar below it, and then in creative mode I can break stuff with it, no consequence, right? Just like, hooray, things are broken, doesn't matter, I could have done just as well with my hand. But then if I'm in survival mode, suddenly, like, every time I use the axe to break something, the axe takes a little bit of damage, and eventually, if I keep doing that, I won't have an axe anymore, right? So I either have to like fix it or just use it while the using is good, and then be satisfied that it's gone when it's gone. We can do the same thing for Hyphens, right? We could have them have like uses until they're gone. Those uses could be random or specified by the author, or like determined by stuff is you put into your recipe. Like, no, it's all up to us. Fine, it's all up to us. So I guess I've saved this. I saved this wand now, Chili Habitation. With hashtag uses equals 2. And so what you should be able to do is you should be able to craft one now. Your old ones will still be 1 use.
Okay.
You should be able to craft one now with the string and then the egg next to it and the stick at the end.
Oh, I have to go to survival, right?
To craft it, no.
Okay.
You will eventually have to see what I'm talking about, but not for the moment.
Okay. So then same ingredient. So that's what, the string, the egg, and the stick.
I just gave you one of each.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Oops. I did. So I was a bit of a naughty boy, and I guess I saved the code onto a brick. And so now it's telling me, oh,
So
you want to make this?
it like overrode it. I see.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. No, that's fine. We talked about it, right? This is one of the problems with how it currently works, and it's a very obvious problem. All right, I saved it again.
Okay.
So you should get a snowball.
And same ingredient, right? String, egg, and stick?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, string, egg, stick. It's still saying brick on my screen. Okay, let me exit out. Okay. Exit out. And I'll go back in. And then we're putting a string, an egg, and a stick. It still says brick. It's still showing me the brick. I'm not seeing the chili habitation one. Or okay, so it's still the brick, but everything else still says a Pythonic wand of chili habitation.
Huh. How odd. All right, I'm gonna try saving it one more time, and then if that doesn't work, I give up.
Yeah. Okay, let me know when I should try.
Okay. Yeah, give it a shot. Should be a stick now.
Okay. String, stick, egg. Now it's a stick. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could have been goofing that up over here personally. Okay, so next you do need to be in survival mode.
Okay.
So do yourself a game mode S. I'll look around for baby zombies. I don't see any.
Okay. Wait. Game mode. Oh, it doesn't like that. Hold on, try that again. Okay. Game mode. S. There we go. Survival. All right. No baby zombies. Good.
Cool. Okay. So the graphics could and probably will get deeply unsatisfying at some point. But now that you're in survival mode, the mod cares that you use a Pythonic wand, and once it's out of uses, the wand should disappear.
Okay.
So the one that you just got, the chili habitation one, I saved it with you. You should use it once.
Oh, the one that I've got says one of one use remaining.
Yeah. I don't know whether the tooltip is just broken in multiplayer or the functionality is broken in multiplayer. We're about to find out.
Okay, so I'm gonna swing. Oh, and
Okay. Yep. So let's
And now
let's
I'm
break you
holding
out of
it
there.
Oh, now it's water? Why is it turning into water?
It's just how ice is when you break it in survival mode. You'll be all right. It's harmless. It's just you're a little wet. Okay, so you've got this like busted ass item in your hand now that doesn't look like anything, right? So that's
Yeah.
actually a damaged stick.
Oh.
Turns out that sticks can't be damaged in Minecraft. So when you tell it to render a damaged stick, please, it's like, I'm sorry, sir, that doesn't exist in my reality. Here's some pink and black BS. Yeah, if you were to do that with an item that were allowed to be damaged, like, I don't know, an iron axe, you would see a damaged iron axe. Since you're holding an item that's not usually allowed to be damaged, you see BS. We're working on it. You know, one of the reasons this is an alpha.
Interesting.
But try it again. So if you try to use that same item again, it should disappear completely.
Okay. So I guess I'll just do it right here. Ooh, yeah, it's gone.
Given you using this phase, here might use it for and over that, like having it look like the item made while breaking time is hard. If we both knew once that this stick, you said 10 uses, and then I later 2 uses, I'm pretty sure they'd both choose it. So there's a lot to technically work out, but that is my third and last sort of design question for the day is like, okay, so if crafting recipes work, how should, if the anvil works, how should it? And then finally, like, uses, uses per wand. If you didn't specify, would you expect infinity, or one, or something else? Were you expecting the creative mode versus survival mode split, or did that throw you for a complete loop?
Yeah.
Yeah, interested to hear more.
Yeah,
Now
definitely.
or next time.
No, these are great questions, and I love, man, this feature expansion is just so cool. Oh man, this is super fun. Um, my mind's like racing right now. Like even thinking about um, adventure map. Like you mentioned, like what if we were to do like a just a simple one little mini adventure map, where it has an obstacle, and your job is to like I'm almost thinking like I'm looking up at this ice thing, and I'm like, man, that water's really inconvenient. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, oh well, I could probably just write a Python script that just like looks around me and then evaporates all the water. Um, and then that way I wouldn't have to go and clean it all up, right? Well, like,
Oh, definitely.
what if this ice tower is actually a building that I'm trying to get into for some reason? I'm trying to get in here, and something here is stopping me, or it's at least it's impeding my movement enough. That would be a cool way to I think maybe apply it, like to change the context. Like, oh well, I need a wand now. If all this water, all this ice is in the way, I need a wand now to make it melt or make some of it disappear, and then inside is a new artifact, or inside is a new clue or something that will lead me to the next shrine or the next cave or the next temple that I need to go and get, or go and explore. I don't know. I don't know if any of that made any sense, but this is, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, because in a weird way, it almost like, like let's say you are a.
Oh no, it makes a lot of sense. Like you done tutorial for example, that or like excuses one.
Right.
Yeah, I certainly see that word.
Think about like even been like I'm like test, right? Got folks that you really use hacking. Their goal basically is like, well, how do I get to a place, or how do I get something out of a place? And if you think like a wizard, you have these spells, and this go, just around you, and you click all the whatever, win or something like that. Then imagine like you came up with a fortress, and like had some way to like examine it. You need to read it first. You need to like kind of like pound down the hull. A little bit and try to see where the weaknesses are, right? Try to see like, is there a way in? Is there a trap somewhere around here that's waiting for me? You kind of have to think about it first, and then you have to try to code a solution. And then as you try coding a solution, it either works or it doesn't, or it has intended consequences or unintended consequences. I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. You could very quickly turn this into something that is informed by like a real world application. Like reading this, you got to look at it first. You have to evaluate the problem, and then you can go back and maybe write some code to make it easier. I don't know. I'm just thinking. But then I'm like, how would you, I guess you could try to gamify that if there was some semblance, some way to set a timer, right? Because if you were able to code a solution and it took you 10 minutes, and then you encountered a new one, or maybe you did the same one and you coded it and you got a better time, like let's say it took you 5 minutes to do it, that would be one way to like maybe encourage or motivate like practicing or getting the code. Maybe like if you're able to complete a challenge in a certain amount of time, then it makes it a little bit you earn something. It's got to give you something, like either an extra bit of magic back or an extra maybe I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking like, what are
Hmm.
some ways that it could be, it could make that interesting?
Yeah, I like this. I like that idea. Um, and in a Minecraft modding context, it's super relevant. Like, could we create some reward? You know, like it's a block that you interact with. It's like a chest or something. You know, it like gives you items you want.
Hmm.
Um, but the sooner you interact with it, the more it has.
Yeah.
You know, and then like the longer it takes you, maybe the less impressive the reward is. That's all. I don't know. It's all possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's really cool.
yeah, I mean, you could even have Python code running, checking for the, you know, doing it itself, being like,
Yeah.
I see a player in this area. You know, like it's only been 800 seconds since I started. That's pretty good. So I'll spawn these rewards. Versus, oh,
Yeah.
it's been like,
Yeah, very very cool. The part that okay, so this is last thought. The thing that was kind of cool as a part of that is like what is the world building? That's the thing that my mind was like, like cool like the lore, not really lore, things like people. What's the overarching axe? Why is they're trying to do this? Where is it going towards? And like what world that you know and this actually exists? Like I think that's why I'm through and just trying to imagine like what would be the motivation? What would be the problem?
yeah,
Like to go around
I
and try and you know
I do that a
gather all
lot
these
too.
artifacts.
I do that a lot too. I try and think about like, well, if this were to be the reality of a world, you know, what would that world be like, and who would live in it, and like what would the stories told about that world be? Um, I try to just remind myself that like I'm the mod author. Uh, I gotta I gotta provide for people who want to tell those stories, and then just get out of the way and see what they do. You know,
Yeah,
like make it technically possible, and then try not to have too many harmful opinions that will, you know, George Lucas it into something like the Star Wars prequels. I don't know. Um, but like, you know, my
hot
man
take.
my man's is good at special effects. That does not mean he can write a story. Uh, and I feel the same way. Like I can write a Minecraft mod. That doesn't mean I know what's going to be cool for your world. Like you tell me what's going to be cool for your world, and I'll see if I can figure out a way to code it. You know,
Yeah,
or at
no, I
least or at
love it.
least that's the attitude I've chosen to take lately.
No, I love that. I love that. Well, Connor, I can't thank you enough. I mean, this is really impressive. This is just some awesome progress, and all these extra features are super super cool. This is a ton of fun. Thanks a million for joining. I think we're gonna put a pin in it for there for now. Everyone at home, if you're watching this via a VOD or a little snack, or maybe you're tuning in live, thank you so much for being here. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what are some answers to the questions that we were sort of throwing back and forth around the mod, around how to use it, around if this was something you were to play with and download and try, what would be some expectations or some improvements that could be made that might make it a little bit more enjoyable to experiment with. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We are on just about every social media channel that you can think of. Go check us out, gamersociety.org, and we'll look forward to having you send. We'll go again this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. Right now, Connor is doing this at the Pacific Hard in his time. We put lots of us would give you a head up we live, and usually happens Saturday around early, so we'd hope to see you. Thanks, Connor, for joining. We'll catch everybody next time.
Thanks for having me.
And the stream is still live for some reason.